Hey guys, this is Fang_VA here, coming at you with a new video. We're going to be doing something different today. So if you're new here, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and hit that bell button to make sure you get all of our notifications. And today we're going to be trying our best to review Sonic Prime. Now, naturally, I've said before, I am not a reviewer. I can tell you all my opinion on something, but I'm not going to go out of my way to review something because, in my opinion, reviews are just opinions, and with critics, they are just giving their opinions and getting paid for it. So
this is very true.
I guess even though that I find some reviews entertaining, like the Angry Video Game Nerd and all that, I don't really take stock in reviews. I think they aren't really. There's like when it comes to technology, that's one thing because that is useful, but for like a game or a movie, that is very subjective.
Yes.
Just because a game gets 10s across the board doesn't mean everyone is gonna freaking like it.
That is very true.
So, anyways, Sonic Prime is actually the first series that's taken place in the game universe, supposedly. Although I have seen people that said that they have doubts that this takes place in the same canon as the games. So this series consists of Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, obviously, Amy, Rouge, Big, the Cat and Froggy, Shadow, and Eggman. Orbot and Cubot is in it, but they don't really play that big of a role.
No, they're only there for like a few split seconds.
Yeah. Metal Sonic is not in it either.
No, he's not. The boy was not in it.
Yeah, so pretty much it starts out Sonic stopping Eggman with the what's it called?
Paradox Prism?
Yeah, the Paradox Prism, which sends everyone into this alternate dimension. And of course, because the Sonic's been dashed into it, it's basically his fault this whole thing happened.
Yeah.
Because Sonic, in this timeline, or in this show, he is very impatient. Which is why a lot of people are wondering this can't be the same Sonic in the games, because Frontier Sonic is totally different than this Sonic.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's like night and day with how different they are, but that's also because they had different riders.
That is also very true.
And personality-wise, I feel like the Sonic goes more in line with the Sonic Colors, Sonic Generations, Sonic Lost World, Sonic Forces Sonic. It's more meta.
I have to agree with you on that one, yeah.
Which, kind of going back to that style of riding is like... I'm not going to say that it is as cringe as those games, despite me enjoying those games. But seeing the perfection with how Sonic was in Frontiers, it's hard to see him go back to
the way he was.
Yeah, during the 2010s. But that's fine. He wasn't annoying and all that. There were still moments of him being serious.
Mm-hmm.
And, Sonic has shown in the past that he will get angry if you mess with his friends. I mean, a good example of that is Sonic X.
Yep,
when he saw
Chris and Cosmo.
Dark Sonic. So what happens is Sonic first gets sent to New York City. And yes, that is a total egg pun on New York.
Yeah.
And Sonic figures out that he's basically in Green Hill, that it was built on top. And the first person he meets is 9, which it's this continuity's version of Tails. Now, this version of Tails is basically if he never met Sonic.
And the bullying continuously happened to him.
Yeah. To the point that he felt like he couldn't count on anyone, so he became a loner. So this Tails is a lot more anger at the world. He pretty much has this whole... His arc is that, it's him against
the world. Yep.
And in a lot of ways, that is one of the outcomes of bullying.
Oh yeah.
And then, we find out what happened to Amy here, which she became a robot. And her name is Rusty Rose.
Yeah.
Knuckles and Rouge are part of the Resistance. And then you had the Chaos Council, which is filled with nothing but Eggman. Are you there?
Yeah, which has a very angry toddler.
Yeah. And so Sonic is trying to figure out how to get back, and he figured out, the worst thing he can do is touch that crystal, or else he gets yeeted into another dimension.
Yep.
Which is what happened. They end up doing this heist to where, after Sonic and 9 gets captured, they put Sonic through these tests, and he passes them. And that's when we get the first piece of the puzzle, what happened to Shadow. He starts hallucinating, hearing Shadow, and then we see a flashback to before he ends up stopping Eggman, to where Tails was kind of angry at Sonic for not listening to him.
Yeah, because Tails tried warning him about
the fact that Eggman was not inside the cockpit of this silver egg Dragoon. And as we found out, Eggman was wanting to use Sonic's own power to do what he needed to do, because he knew that the Paradox Prism was in that
area,
rock formation.
Yep.
But we also find out that Shadow was trying to teach Sonic a lesson. He wasn't belittling Sonic at all, which one of the big criticisms of Shadow's character anymore is the fact that he is basically no different than Vegeta. Which I like Vegeta, but Vegeta should be Vegeta, Shadow should be Shadow.
Yep.
And of course they duke it out, and pretty much Shadow basically tells him that he needs to focus.
Yeah, literally punches him in the face and tells him he needs to focus.
Yeah, pretty much. And guys, we're trying our best with this. This is hard to record as it is.
Yeah, we're doing our best here. And then once they get the first shard in New York City.
I love how your voice went New York accent there.
I wasn't even trying it just happened.
I'm walking here.
But once they get to it, it's just Sonic and 9, because the others get caught up with other badniks. And Sonic pretty much warns 9, like, well, the other you told me not to touch it. And 9's like, well, I'm telling you to touch it. And as soon as he does, he gets literally sucked into the shard.
Yeah, and he gets sent into another dimension.
Which happens to be jungle. Prehistoric jungle.
Pretty much, yeah. And this arc really does make you wonder. Okay, who can you trust? Because you're hearing two different sides. You're hearing two different
sides of
the story.
Yeah.
And what was kind of adorable was how they had tails.
Mangy was so cute! And then the few times he talked, it was adorable. Plus he did the little puppy eyes thing. It killed me!
Yeah. Yeah, it also killed me because, again, like, I'm a big fan of Tails, and even I have to admit, Tails is freaking adorable.
It was so cute! And then you had Knuckles, who was going literally insane.
You know what's interesting, though, is that Knuckles reminded me a lot of Styx the Badger.
Yeah, same, episode. Actually, because he's like, the trees are talking to us. And then there's a part when Amy, aka Thornrose, was doing the stuff with her hammer. He's like, they saw it. He's like, oh no, the trees are coming after us.
Yeah, and just in case people haven't seen Sonic Boom, Styx was very paranoid about things because of the shiny people.
Yep. Very paranoid.
So we later find out that both sides, it was that classic real life case to where when you have a wrong situation, you have both sides blame one another, and as it turns out, it could very well be both sides that could be at fault.
This is very true.
So this episode had a good lesson to where people should talk if there's differences.
Yeah, and work things out and find a common ground.
Mm-hmm. And we also find out that using this grants people abilities. So, like, Amy was able to create more plants.
Meanwhile, Sonic had claws to dig and climb it with.
Yeah, which it seems like to me that each of the stone fuels on what the wielder's desires are.
Yeah.
So, like, for Tails, it was mainly science-based. He was able to. I know that we're getting ahead of ourselves here, but Tails, 9 was able to use it to like create this machine
that creates portals into, as he called, the Shatterverse.
and he's able to also shoot laser beams as well with it.
Yep.
Amy was able to use it to create more plant life, and a good lesson. And there's also a good lesson with that too, because with her covering the forest too much, it was actually killing this pine tree.
Yeah, it was killing the palm tree.
And she realized that what she was doing, she was actually hurting it, which also is a good message. Is that when you are trying to do something good and you are obsessing over it, sometimes you could be doing more harm, which honestly a lot of people need to learn this lesson.
Yeah.
Honestly. Because sometimes, just because you think you're doing the right thing, it turns out it could be where you're actually causing more harm
than good. Yep.
And what's interesting too, though, is that with all these different flashbacks Sonic is having, and all these flashbacks, piecing bits of the puzzle with what happened before everyone got sucked into the prism, is that he's also using these memories as a lesson for himself. So we're seeing Sonic learn. And
he's learning as he goes.
So like with Thorn, that palm tree that Thorn was trying to protect, we then saw a flashback of Amy giving Sonic gets surprised, and it's a
It's a
palm
palm
tree
tree, yeah, that they all
that
had
had
memories
memories
around.
with, and Sonic, being Sonic, he's like, okay, what's the point of this? More or less. So even Sonic is learning new lessons, but then we find out with Shadow the reason why he wasn't, lost.
He didn't get trapped is because he used chaos
He's
control.
chaos control, but it also screwed him over because he's trapped there, literally in limbo.
Yeah, he's stuck in the void.
But at the same time, though, too, that's smart because I guess you can say Shadow's kind of the man on the outside helping Sonic.
Yes.
And so pretty much too, after that, he goes back to New York City, which is where we learned about the whole Tails thing, and Nux is angry at Sonic for leaving. They think that Tails stole the shard, and that's not it. Tails actually Nine wanted to build himself a better world, and along with Sonic, and Sonic tells him, no, we have a fight to win. And at first Nine was like, nope, I'm not going to do it. What has that world ever given me? Yeah. So, like I said, it's that typical loner mentality to where, because of you being screwed over, you want to screw over the world.
Yep.
And I know that feeling all too well. That is spite. I can be a very spiteful person when I need to be.
And when someone hurts someone you care about, too.
Oh, yeah. And so what's interesting with this one is that pretty much the whole the whole Chaos Brigade, Chaos Council is actually involved with things now. They're not sitting back, they're actually fighting.
Yep.
Going back to the first episode, it's kind of cool seeing Sonic teach them the spin dash.
I know, it was really cool.
There's some great action scenes in this series. And the characters are very expressive, and
I know, especially when Sonic's ears droop.
Mm-hmm. And even when like Tails in the Thorn Rose dimension, when he does the whole puppy eyes, you see his eyes get really big.
I know, and it's so cute.
Dare I say, I think this animation matches anything that Pixar could do.
Yeah.
Dare I say that. But, so pretty much yet again, he gets sent into another dimension. This time it's the Pirates one.
Yarg.
This was probably my favorite one yet, because I do like pirates, and it also gave me a lot of Wind Waker vibes.
Oh yeah, it really did, especially once Sonic got on the ship.
Well, what gave me the vibe was that you had Green Hill underwater, and in Wind
Waker, Hyrule's pretty much underwater.
Underwater.
Yeah.
Pretty much all the places from Ocarina of Time is underwater.
Yep.
So, like, this gave me a strong Wind Waker vibe, and what's interesting though is that we see Rusty Rose and Thorn Rose. I mean, not Thorn Rose, Pirate Rose.
Who I don't think we ever learned the name of.
They end up meeting, and Rusty Rose short circuits, and kind of in a way, because the robot was going to destroy them, all of a sudden she's like, nope, just let's go. There's no point in us doing this to a sinking ship.
Yeah, so that makes me wonder, if she meets her jungle self, will the same thing happen?
Probably. I would imagine so. And this one is interesting as well, because we see a new variant of a Chewy Dog, which is Sea Dog.
Yeah.
which is a play on word because of sea dogs, which is what people call people that love being on a boat and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And
More?
we find out that Captain Dread crew basically abandoned him because he got a little bit too carried away with trying to get the what's called the Devil's Lighthouse.
Yeah, the Devil's Lighthouse.
Which turns out it is also one of the shards.
Yep, it's the blue one.
And what's interesting though too is that, you know, there's a point to where they're like, okay, well, you know, we can't make it, so because there's these robots that are flying towards it, so Sonic literally
throws Knuckles. It says you need to. It said something about spin dashing again.
Yeah, and he does so, and because of that, it gives him the
air advantage to glide.
Yeah, and we see a classic Knuckles move, which he ends up climbing with his knuckles.
I know, because as soon as I saw him land and I saw that there was this huge big rock, I'm like, you better climb. You better climb, sir.
And what's also what also comments too was when we start seeing like these 2D inspired animations, to where when Sonic was explaining in 9 what happened.
Oh yeah, the 2D pixel. The 2D pixel animations, those are so cool. I loved both of them that they showed.
And my favorite one is actually
the Sonic 3 one.
Yeah.
Where they voiced over it.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, I mean, that's accurate to what happened in the games.
That is very accurate.
And that does confirm that the Master Emerald still exists in Sonic Prime, because yes, I know people are gonna throw out, well, it takes place in the game universe and all that, but while I do understand that, I'm kind of viewing this as its own thing at the same time.
Yeah, because we ain't gonna learn more info until this season 2 comes out, and we do not know when that's happening.
Well, here's the thing. Netflix said that it takes place in the game universe, but Netflix also said that about their Resident Evil TV show.
Yeah, and it wasn't anything like... It got bad rap. Really, really bad.
And then, during the final episode, which I hate that they made this a cliffhanger.
They made it such a cliffhanger.
You know, Shadow is basically angry at Sonic. He punches Sonic.
And Sonic just goes poof.
And so pretty much, you know, Shadow is once again being kind of put on the sideline, probably because of Sega mandates. And even though that this series wasn't written by Ian Flynn was there
to supervise.
To supervise, and he probably told him like, hey, you know, it's okay to use Shadow, but let me explain to you one thing, is that to me, Shadow is like this, so if you want to use him sparingly.
That, and I love the person who VAs that Shadow in Prime. I love it.
Actually, that's a good segue. The voice actors and actresses did an amazing job. I love all.
I do too.
If Sega were to sit me down and ask me which current game VAs you would have replaced with the Sonic Prime cast, I would choose Shadow.
Yep.
And even though that I do acknowledge that Cindy has gotten better at Amy, Cindy, I'm fine with Tails and I'm fine with Sonic.
And we're also fine with Knuckles, but we both agreed that if video game Knuckles is VA
left,
we would want this Knuckles that's in Prime to voice video game Knuckles.
Now, if it was a perfect world, I would just have Dan Green come back, have Jason Griffith come back, and everything's fine and dandy again.
Yeah, but sadly it's not.
I mean, you never know.
True.
Never say never.
You aren't wrong on that.
And I think, like I said, and what's interesting though too with the New York, part, with as big as a Archie Sonic comic fan, dare I say, because people love to diss on that nowadays because of one guy that worked on it.
Yeah, because of the one guy.
But the whole New York City park could be seen as a Sonic Saturn reference.
Oh,
and Archie comic reference
because
think about it, you have a modernized city built over one that was thriving, over something that came before, which was that's obviously like Mobitropolis and Robotropolis. Then you have the fact that you have Eggman, who's a dictator, and also too he has a big building that is his headquarters. Robotnik had a big building that was his headquarters.
Yep.
In Sonic Saturn, Sonic Underground, and the Archie comics, you have a group of freedom fighters fighting for justice,
which happens to be what Rouge and Knuckles is leading.
Ironically enough, they are called the Resistance, which some people may think that's a Sonic Forces reference, but it can also be a Sonic Underground reference too.
Yep.
And apparently in the bio, I guess for the show, apparently it is now still confirmed that Sonic's middle name is Maurice.
Oh shoot. Well, Sonic's middle name's forever gonna be Maurice now.
But and I'm sorry if you guys heard me yawn.
It didn't come through on Discord, so you're good.
Okay. But yeah, overall, I really did enjoy the series. Like I said, you guys, I'm sorry if this turned out bad. I'm not a reviewer at all. But if the interest is high enough when there's a season 2, we might review episode by episode.
Yes.
We might try it. But yeah, you guys, that's it for this video. I hope you all enjoy. Please don't hate us too much.
Yes, please.
Like I said, we really tried.
We did really good. I mean, we're almost 3 minutes away from 30 minutes, so we did really good.
Yeah, but like I said, I'm not a reviewer.
I know. We do our best.
Yeah, we do our best. Plus too, there was so much in the show to unpack.
Oh, there was a lot. They threw a lot at you.
But yeah, I think overall, if I had to give season 1 something out of 10, I would probably give it a solid 8.
I can agree with you on that. Solid 8 out of 10, yeah.
I'm hoping Sonic gets a bit more serious, but I do understand with it being a kid show, they can't.
They can't make him too serious.
Although to be honest, there were some dark stuff in this series, and Knuckles almost swear.
Yeah, Knuckles almost sweared. It was kind of funny though.
yeah, which was hilarious. So, and if you all want, I can try to get some of the voice actors to interview on this channel as well, especially Sonic himself, which would be kind of cool.
Dude, that would be cool. Holy!
I would love, my dream review I would love to do is to get the dude from Sonic Prime, but also get Jason Griffith, Ryan Drummond, Roger Craig Smith.
Okay, pretty much all the Sonic VAs.
And then and then of course too, before the whole, interview stars, I can just make a corner jump being like, I know that you guys heard of, Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse, but this is Sonic into the Sonic-verse.
That needs to be a thing. I'm sorry.
I would love to get Jaheel White, the freaking OG.
Yes, the OG.
And I think the one thing I would love to do is get them all to do the whole, I'm waiting in all their different Sonic voices, and just save Jaheel White for the last. Like, all right, dude,
take it away.
All right, the OG. That's something I would love to do. I mean, that would be
amazing.
Plus too, if they guys, this is gonna be me going into daydream fanboy mode. So let me have this.
Daydream fanboy.
If any of them complimented my Sonic voice, I would just be like, okay.
You would pass out.
I would.
You would legit pass out, especially if Ryan or Jason complimented you on it.
Because with my Sonic voice, I took a lot of different things from my favorite Sonic voices. My Sonic laugh is Jason Griffith's Sonic laugh, and my Sonic voice is like a perfect blend between Ron Drummond and the dude that voiced him in the OVA.
Yeah.
Strange, isn't it?
God dang it.
So, you know what, you guys? I'm gonna end this video with this. What you see is what you get. Take 2. What you see is what you get. Just a guy that loves adventure. I'm Sonic the Hedgehog. Later, guys.
Bye, guys.